Hey, you cool cats and kittens. Welcome back to the Queer Collective podcast. My name is Carol Baskin,
and I'm a big cat. Rare.
Who I'm going to feed to my husband later to hide the parts.
You don't feed the big cat to your husband.
What?
But I don't know if all you guys can see is just a bunch of little dots. These are some meticulously drawn cheetah blobs. Okay? And if you're just listening to this, then maybe you're just seeing a void. But
I zoomed in and out just then.
Or whatever's in front of you.
I zoomed in and out with
Thank you.
special effects.
Special effects.
AKA the
AKA
zoom button. What are we talking about today?
We're getting spooky.
How spooky are we getting?
We're getting ghost
You
stories.
see these
spooky.
lights? You see these lights?
It's because we're spooky.
We're spooky sisters, that's why.
Yeah.
And if you're listening, just trust that we're being spooky.
So, Karbon, as the Latina woman that you are, you have plenty of ghost stories, and for some reason you attract ghosts, and your whole family has a bunch of ghost stories.
I do not attract ghosts. First of all, I never asked for no ghosts. Ghosts were not asked for, except that one time, but it was by accident. Total accident.
So, I'm just going to jump right into it. I wanted to apologize to you guys that we've been gone for like 2 weeks now, but...
It's more so like we keep doing this.
Doing what?
We keep like leaving and then coming back and being like, we're back, and then we leave again, and then we're like, but we're back, and then we leave, and then we're like, this time for sure. And really it's just we've been busy. We've been extremely busy.
Yeah.
I'm drowning in it.
Some really cool things are happening though in the background, and some fun things are coming.
Yeah. In the meantime,
Yeah.
if you want podcasts, go listen to all of them that we've
Yeah.
already put out, and go watch Sheena's video on astrology masterclass.
Yeah, so fun.
Which is something that we put a lot of effort and work into. And there's more dope stuff coming.
The editing on that one is great, and Sheena is great, and I learned a lot when I watched it.
And I'm great, and you're great, and we're great.
We're all great together. So I wanted to start out by talking about costumes, because personally, I'm someone who loves Halloween, like the whole damn thing. I'm a very spooky person.
You're spooky. You love, I think you just love dressing up.
I do. I love to dress up. That's why, like, when I lived alone, I would just go on live, and I would turn myself into a drag queen, like, on Instagram Live, just because I was bored. That's what living alone does to you.
That's what having too much time on your hands. Like, what were you doing? Like,
that was the hobby. So, what's your favorite costume that you've ever had?
My favorite costume, to be honest, I haven't made very many.
Yeah, you kind of suck. For some reason, I keep dating people who aren't very good at costumes.
Excuse me.
So I always end up...
It's not that... Okay, let's clarify. Let's clear the air. I think that we have some costume tension
some
here.
Drama.
And I really want to... I think we need to clear it. Okay. So...
Let's smash this drama.
Here's the thing, is that it's not...
Smash the beef.
We got beef between our teeth. It would be boss if we had floss. So... Here's the thing. I'm not saying I suck at making costumes. I just don't try from the start. Like, if I was excited about a costume and I had an idea, I would fully execute that costume. But I'm not.
That's part of it, though. Part of it is you have to brainstorm.
I don't do the first part. And therefore, I can't do the second, third, or fourth.
Before we started dating, did you go out for Halloween?
No.
Are you even spooky?
Of course I'm spooky. I'm a spooky sister. I went trick-or-treating up until I was in, like, almost college.
What?
I said almost, not all the way.
That's
okay,
too
maybe
old.
like second year of high school.
I think I went in grade 8 and then with a few of my friends, and like 4 houses just roasted us. Like, shouldn't you be with your boyfriends? What are you guys doing? If you're spooky like me, what are you doing this year for Halloween? Because obviously COVID kind of threw a wrench in it. I would like to suggest something to you.
Do it.
What I decided to do, I was really stressed out with school and with work and everything. And I was like, I need something fun and creative to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I started painting and / drawing some really spooky cards, and I decided I'm gonna have a Halloween party with just our roommates. 6 people. That's right. It's gonna be the wildest 6-person party ever. And I called it Nightmare on Beep Street.
Because you can't know our street.
No,
Carol
you can't know
Baskin.
that stuff.
Can't know where Carol Baskin lives.
So what's going to happen at this party is I'm having a costume contest. Everyone has to pay $5, and then the winner gets the whole pot. And what I decided this year is I'm not going to make Karbon's costume. Good luck.
Which means
And don't F it up.
Which means I might have no costume.
Yeah, let's see what happens. But everyone's getting super into it, and I'm really excited. So in the next podcast, I guess we'll maybe share photos of what we all turn out like. I'm painting my whole body yellow. Can you guess what I'm going to be?
You can't guess.
Yeah, so I want to know what you guys are doing. How are you staying spooky? Did you carve pumpkins? So we carved pumpkins, and Karbon did the cutest thing ever.
First of all, they're amazing. All of them. We have pictures of them, so I'll put them up.
She built me a house.
I built her a house. Get you a woman that builds you a house.
Yeah. So I got this really small pumpkin because I'm cute and little.
You're taller than me.
I'm cute and little. They can't tell I'm seated.
Your mic is up higher because you're tall.
I just have a long torso.
Just little tiny legs.
I'm so cute and little. So I got a tiny little pumpkin to match my tiny little legs.
You got a cute little pumpkin to meet your tiny little legs.
So I carved a tiny little face on my tiny little pumpkin, and then I looked at Laura's giant pumpkin,
Because
and I
I'm
was
big.
like, "Do you want to build a house for my pumpkin?"
Out of my pumpkin.
You were like, "Babe, I don't think it's gonna fit." It's like, make it fit. Initially, you carved a door too small, and I was like, I gotta be able to get in my house. So you carved a bigger door.
And now it fits. So it sits.
So it sits.
Yeah.
And I have a house. I pay property taxes.
Our pumpkin's name is Sir Peanut.
Super cute. Carve some pumpkins, even if it's by yourself. Make a costume. Have a costume contest with your family members. Okay? Or just make yourself a costume and then post it online. Be your digital self.
Why do you keep making faces like you're gonna throw up?
Are you guys ready to hear some ghost stories? Do you think I'm gonna hear some ghost stories?
I am. Okay, so first up, we have me.
Welcome to the stage! Me!
Thank you. Thank you. Not all at once. Imagine this. I am in Colombia. Just but a wee lad in Colombia, where I was born and lived for 7 years.
What did your house look like?
I don't remember. It was a 2-story house.
Okay.
This 2-story house, it's a Colombian house, which
More
means
descriptive.
it's made out of bricks and cement, no wood, because Colombia, I think. And there's gates. Every house has gates, because if you don't have gates, robbers might get in, and you don't want that in Colombia. And I was small, couple years old.
As small as my legs.
And I go over to my friend's house to play. That's what friends do. And so I'm there, and my mom's coming over to pick me up. It's time to go home. So when she comes and gets me, she's like, Laura, come on, let's go. And then I say goodbye. And then I go to my mom. And then my mom says,
Goodbye.
Nope. Then my mom says, who are you just talking to? Because it wasn't my friend. She said, who are you just talking to? And I said, that old man over there. And then she said, what old man? And then I looked back.
Kids are creepy.
There was no man there.
Kids are creepy. That's a stamp. What's going on? Kids are creepy.
There was no man there. It was but an empty rocking chair.
This sounds fake. Is this real?
No, this is absolutely real.
You had a rocking chair?
Everybody had a rocking chair. It's like the 70s. No, it's the 90s.
It's the 70s. How old are you?
Okay, so there's no man there, right? And then she says, okay, well, can you describe him for me? So then I described them. I described the way he looked, what he was wearing. And then my mom says, Laura, that old man died 2 weeks ago.
Who was he?
He was my friend's grandpa, I believe. Spooky.
Like,
Why do you not believe my first?
Okay, why was your friend's grandpa chilling at your house?
No, it was at my friend's house.
Oh,
I
you
went
were
to
at
my
your friend's house.
Were you not paying attention? I went to my friend's house to play. The old man, who's her grandpa, usually sat on his rocking chair. Everybody had a rocking chair if you're old and you're in Colombia at
True.
least.
Okay.
And so I thought that was him, and I was just saying goodbye to him. I was like, goodbye, Mr. Sir. And
okay, I believe you now.
yeah.
I believe you now.
Do
you guys believe her?
It's not like I knew that anything out of the ordinary was going on.
All right. I believe you. I think this happens to a lot of little kids. So it's like either kids are just super creepy and weird, or they see dead people, which is also super creepy and weird.
I like it. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe they can connect with spirits because they're more open. Their minds are more open.
And that's highly likely.
And our minds are closed. You know?
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just more vulnerable. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or both. I don't know.
I feel like dogs can see spirits too.
Totally. Have you ever had your dog just be like...
Bork? Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what's there? What's there?
What's the matter, Spot? Is there
What's
trouble down at the old mill?
I'm always like, tell me what you see. I wish you could.
Yeah. Would you want your dog to talk to you? Like real life. I feel like that would ruin the relationship.
Yeah, like yes and no. Like I want him to talk to me, but at the same time I don't. I feel like there's some sort of like, I don't know, there's just like a charm and like a special bond when you can't communicate with words, but you communicate
Agreed.
with like vibes and like just energy.
Just vibes.
It's just vibes.
Yeah. I love vibing with dogs.
My next story, I remember much more vividly because I was no longer just a little toddler. I wasn't a wee lad anymore. I was like a medium lad. I was like, it was probably like 10, 11 years ago. I think I was like maybe 14, 15, something like that. Back then, during that time, my family and I, we lived in an apartment building. You know, normal stuff. And I was like at the age where if my parents went out somewhere, like my family went out somewhere, I was like the rebellious kid who like didn't want to go. So I would often like stay home and just like either watch TV or play games or something like that, like video games. And
plays Monopoly.
Yeah. By myself. And so because I liked staying home a lot, that's what led to experiencing some stuff. And I would usually stay home watching TV while they went out to like see their friends and whatnot. So I was chilling at home one night. They were out with my sister, so it was just me by myself. So I was in the apartment and I was watching TV by myself, like I said. And I was sitting on the couch, right? And for some reason, I kept feeling like somebody was watching me. This isn't like a normal thing. Like I don't just like stay at home and feel like someone's watching me. Otherwise I wouldn't stay at home, right? I would just be creeped out. But this particular night, I 100% felt like I was being watched. And so I just kept looking behind me. And I was like, what is that? Like, what is someone behind me? Like, am I being watched right now? Like, and I kept turning back. Like, is this like super unsettling feeling of like, look behind you, look behind you, look behind you. So I kept looking behind me and nothing was there, of course, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm really freaking myself out right now. Like, it's all in my head. So I get up, I start walking around, and I'm like, it's in my head. I'm like shaking it off, and I was like, you know what? I'm being so ridiculous. So I'm gonna prove myself wrong. So then I'm standing in the hallway, and I'm looking directly into my sister's room, right? All the lights are off, all of them. And just like the living room light is on, and like the kitchen light. So I'm staring into, like, from the hallway into my sister's room, and I say out loud, okay, if there's somebody in here, and in my head I was like, which I know there's not. So I was like, if there's somebody in here, just let yourself be known, turn those lights in that room, and I was pointing at my sister's room, turn those lights on and off really fast. And the instant I said that, the lights began to flicker. They were just like, and I was like, oh my God, holy damn, like, holy shit. And I ran out of there so quick because I tried to justify this to myself later on, but just the lights in my sister's room, no other lights,
that's really scary,
were flickering on and off really, really fast. And so I ran out of there. I ran out of the apartment. I didn't even use the elevator. I was afraid I was going to get stuck. So I took the stairs and I ran all the way down. But the thing about taking the stairs is that you feel like someone's chasing you. So then that freaked me out more. It's like two evils. Either you feel like you're trapped in an elevator with a ghost, or you feel like you're being chased by it down the stairs.
Yeah.
I took the stairs, went all the way down to the lobby, and I refused to go back up. And literally the whole night...
Did you have, like, your phone with you or something?
I didn't have a cell phone back in the day.
Oh.
I was back in the day.
Oh, yeah, you are older than me. Yeah.
And so I stayed in the lobby for, like, a while. Like, at least an hour. I was just freaked out and panicked.
Was anyone there?
The lobby dude.
Did you, like, talk to him, or did you just sit there?
I just sat there, and that's it. And I was, like, waiting for them to come home. But after, like, an hour passed, and they didn't come home, I went back upstairs. I got the courage to go back upstairs.
Were you just bored?
I was like, I can do this. Right? I was bored, yeah, but it was more so like, I need them to come home. And so I went back upstairs and I decided to call them. So I called them. Okay. And I was like, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, how's it going? And they're like, it's fine. And I was like, so when you coming home? And then they're like, oh, I don't know. Could be an hour. Could be more. And I was like, okay. And they're like, why? What's wrong? And I was like, nothing. I just miss you. And I said that because I was afraid that they weren't going to believe me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm being so ridiculous that there's no way that they would believe me if I told them what I saw.
Did you ever tell them?
I didn't tell them until we moved out of the apartment and into the house that we live in now, which was probably like, I think it was like years after.
Yeah.
So I never told them during the time that we lived there. But the funny thing is that when we moved and when I did tell them, they weren't surprised. They were like, why didn't you tell us? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I totally thought that you think that I'm losing my mind and that I was like being crazy. And they're like, no, we've seen some things there too. And I was like, say more right now. And then like, they were like, didn't you ever wonder why we would sleep on the couch during the day and stay up all night and wouldn't sleep in our actual room? And I was like, no, I thought you were just really tired. I was like, what? That wasn't by choice. And the weird thing is, too, that my sister, she, in that apartment specifically, always experienced sleepwalking.
Really?
Yeah, so she would get up fully,
Yeah.
like either go to the kitchen or go to the living room or come to my room and then end up sleeping in my room. And she would never sleep in her room. Ironically enough, that's the room where the lights flickered on and off.
Weird.
So she would,
that is kind of weird.
right?
Yeah.
So she would get up in the middle of the night unknowingly
That's weird.
and sleepwalk to someone else's room.
Yeah.
And she would always wake up in someone else's room or the living room or like whatever.
Strange.
The funny thing is, the stranger thing is that when we moved to our house, she never did it again.
Whoa. Okay, that
From
is
the
weird.
first day moving in, she never did it
Really?
again. Yeah.
Oh, that's so strange.
Yeah. It's freaky stuff, man.
That's really creepy.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear another reason? Okay, I was a creepy kid.
You were?
Yeah.
Ooh,
And you just reminded me that I was a little bit of a creepy kid. So when I was in grade 5, I also started sleepwalking. And you just reminded me of it. And I would do some really creepy shit. So my sister's room was right beside me and we were on like our own floor or whatever. So it was just me and her. And I would sleepwalk and I'd get up and I'd just go to the end of her bed and I would pet her bed.
Oh my God.
She'd wake up and was like,
that's so creepy.
Yeah. And then other times they would find me and I would just be sitting there. You know the strings on blinds where you use them to pull up? I would just sit there and I would knot them.
What?
Yeah. And then everyone would wake up the next day and the whole thing would be knotted.
What the hell?
I would just sit there and I would knot the blind.
You're so creepy.
Yeah.
You're far creepier.
Kids are creepy. Yeah. So kids are creepy. So I've never been one to be haunted. I don't know people on the other side of this table, but like 2 years ago, I want to say, I lived alone. And it was in like this townhouse, and the townhouse was super empty because I didn't have furniture to put in it. I'm not going to get into the details of why this was going on. I'm just going to let you feel weird about it. And so I was in like a basically unfurnished townhouse, and it felt super creepy and scary and lonely. And so I would just have Laura over like all the time because I didn't like being alone. Either that or like my friends would sleep over basically every night because it was so creeped out. It was a similar thing. Like you talk about feeling like you were being watched. I always felt like I was being watched. But I will say when I would walk at night, I could see inside of other people's homes because there was like this glass sliding door. It was like a complex, right? So everyone kind of had the same style of house. So everybody had this glass sliding door at the back of their house, and it was a shared backyard, right? So you'd walk through, and if people had their lights on at night, you could see into their whole houses and just like watch them, which I would do. Like, who's not going to do that when you're walking by? If you can see in a house, you're going to look in the house. So if I was sitting there, I would always feel like I was being watched. Even if I had the blinds closed, I was just like, shivers. And I couldn't like sit downstairs. I would like only really spend time in my room because I was spooked. So you started coming over, and what happened first? Was it the closet story or the creepy baby story? I
think what happened first was like the whole closet situation.
Yeah.
That baby story still gives me creeps.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can connect more of like a human reason to the closet thing, but the baby thing, that was weird. We're gonna get into it. All right, here we go.
So
hop on in.
I'm gonna paint a picture for you guys.
Please do.
So in my room there was a closet. What a luxury. I don't have a closet now. So I had a closet, and inside of this closet there was
a walk-in closet.
Yeah.
Luxurious.
Yeah, I weirdly had a lot of space to myself. I could have made like a whole room my closet if I really wanted to. Yeah.
No,
so
you don't got that no more.
I'm not gonna get into it. So so in this closet there was one of those like roof hole ceiling things, a hole in the ceiling that leads to the attic. What do you call that?
Attic hole ceiling.
Right word. Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. I always just felt kind of creeped out that I was like, someone could be living in there. Like, I don't know. I always just like, that's like my anxiety talking.
Someone could be living in there. That would be crazy.
And I would sit in my bed and I was having like terrible nightmares at the time just because like I was living alone and I felt really depressed and anxious and lonely because I was living alone. And, and I was just like only going to school. And so I was having absolutely horrible nightmares, and when I was lying in bed, my insomnia was so bad I would probably sleep like every other night, and I'd go to bed at like 5 a.m. and wake up at 7, and not because I was on that grind, because I couldn't sleep. And I would lay awake and I would just feel like I was seeing things and like just felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But nothing ever really happened that made me like think more of it. I just thought I was being kind of crazy. And then I started seeing you, and you would come over, and then shit got weirder. That's why I'm saying you bring ghosts.
I brought it in.
Some
house.
Latin shit.
Ghosts.
Yeah. You brought your Latin ghosts with you. You unpacked your bag and threw them up there.
I was like, it's time for some Latin ghosts up in this Caucasian neighborhood. You know what you need? That's that Latin spice, really. Some ghosts.
One night, and I will preface this by saying that no windows were open in the whole house. Not a single one. And we walked into my, or no. We were just sitting in my bed and looked over at the closet. The door of the closet was open, and the clothes suddenly started like moving, and they were just like moving like a breeze, or like someone bumped into them, and like we heard the hangers, and we both just kind of like lost our shit.
We were like, did you just see what I see?
It's so scary.
You just saw the stuff that I just saw. It was right there, and then you saw it too, right?
And I was already so scared of living in this house. Karbon springs into action, because I'm like, yo, there's someone living up there. I didn't instantly think ghost. Oh, this is an important feature.
So, you know,
Breaking news.
You know how like the attic door, right? It's kept in place by like a pin of sorts.
That you can only close on the outside. So if
only
someone
on the outside.
Yeah. So
and it was not done. It was undone.
Have never touched this attic before. So if someone were to go up there, they wouldn't be able to close them on their way up because it's on the other side of the door. Okay?
We're on board.
Everyone here is on board.
Everyone's on board right now.
You guys
We're
are on board?
listening intently.
You guys all hear this. Okay. So rewind. The clothes move. I'm like, huh? And then you go over and I'm like, hey, is the pin locked? You're like, no. I've never touched this door in my life. I've always left it closed.
And then you know when you get this sensation, this feeling of like, was it always like that?
Yeah, and you don't remember and you start questioning yourself, but I've never touched this door.
So like, then we're trying to figure out like, has it always been undone, or did it recently get undone? Like
how recently?
How recent is the undoing?
And so you take your little pocket knife and you step on a chair and you start poking at it. Like you don't push your arm on it.
I was scared.
She's
what
like
if I push the door?
ceiling,
By the way,
grabs your
the door
hand.
is still on.
Yeah.
The attic door is still on, but the pin is undone, right? So I was afraid that if there was somebody on the other side and I pushed with my hand, they were just gonna grab me by the hand.
No.
And then I'm gone. I'm a goner. You never see me again. So instead, I opted out for like my pocket knife that I carried with me. So then I started poking it with my knife. And the thing was that like the door wasn't even lifting.
It wasn't moving.
It wasn't moving at all. And I was like putting all of the pressure that I could on it. And I was like, either this door is really heavy or someone's pushing it down. So we're trying to figure this out for like a solid hour, I would say. And we're so scared of going to sleep at all. The thing was, though, that neither of us were brave enough to actually open the door completely. Or attempt to, once my knife test didn't work. Because Emily was all like, okay, like push the door fully, like with both your hands. And I was like, are you insane? I pushed the door with both my hands and then I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm lifted and you're not seeing me and I'm in the attic and then I'm dead. So I never did it. And so we went to bed with the attic door in that situation.
And I just tried to forget about it.
I am pretty sure that we put the pin back in. If it was a person,
It killed them. Now there's definitely a ghost in that house.
we'll never know the resolution to that one.
My thing is, though, if it was actually a person and they were squatting in my attic, why would they come down when they hear voices? Like, that wouldn't make sense. I feel like it's a ghost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't add up.
What if they had to poop?
Like, urgently. I feel like you would just pull your pants down, take a shit on the floor. I think they get swifty.
Here.
Yeah. So that was the first thing that happened. And then some weird shit followed.
Okay, I'm personally more disturbed by the second one, which is the baby story. So here's how ghost it's. Here's how ghost it's.
Nice.
Yeah. Too sick. We were laying in bed. Okay, we had just finished watching a movie, so it was night time. About to go to bed. Eyes closed, or almost, or halfway closed, like that half thing that you do. Eyes nearly closed. Anywhoomst, laying there, right? Eyes closed. By the way, silent, right? The movie is off. The eyes are closed. And no sound is being made any further. We're laying there. Then we hear a baby. Here's the thing. My brain instantly concluded that it must be outside of the house, right? Because I was like, there's no baby in here. We would have known if there was a baby in here.
I went straight to ghosts.
So I was like, there's a baby outside. How did the baby get outside? But the thing was that it sounded so close and so like inside the house that I was like, they must be right outside the window. But we're on the second floor. So I was like, how are they outside the window but floating?
Yeah, that's why I didn't think that.
Yeah, so I thought that there was like a floating baby outside the window. And yours was a little more practical, which was they were inside the house and it was echoing to upstairs. A little bit more practical, but we're still talking about a ghost baby here, so
Yeah.
Who knows? What would you say that it was the sound was like? It wasn't a laugh.
No, I think it was more like an almost cry.
It was like an almost cry.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it, and I don't know how to make the noise either.
Yeah.
But it was like kind of a disturbed baby sound. That was like super freaky. That one was, I was like, we're dying tonight. We're 100% dying tonight. And I was like, okay, there's clearly no baby in the house. I literally immediately start looking outside of the window, and I was like, there's no baby floating outside this window. Then where is it? And then I looked
clearly. It was so clear.
So clear. And it was more than once too.
Yeah.
The first time that we heard it, we were like, nah. And then the second time that we heard it, we were like, okay, you heard that one, right? And then that's when we both started panicking, because when you hear something once, you're like, it must have been just like my imagination. When you hear it twice, then it's like, did you hear that? And then Emily was like, yeah, I heard that. And then I was like, holy frick. It's not just in my head, it's for reals. And that made it so freaky. I'm getting goosebumps. And the thing was that like, I looked outside the window. I looked into like the shared backyard. No babies, of course. It's like freaking 1 a.m. And we searched the house for this baby, and there's no babies. And I was like, did we bring a baby in the house? I would have remembered if we brought a baby in the house. So no babies anywhere to be found, not inside the house or outside the house. And I was so freaked out. And I don't even know how we managed to go to sleep that night. I don't know. I think we convinced ourselves that we must have like imagined it As two people?
Yeah, how the hell are two people just imagining
Two
something?
people collectively imagining a baby's almost cry.
That doesn't make sense.
And we were like, okay, I guess it was in our heads collectively. I don't know. Maybe we share heads now. Bye. Sleep.
Funny.
And we just went to sleep like that. We fully accepted.
And I have since moved out of there, and I haven't been spooked since.
Thank goodness.
Except for by some like big ass scary bugs, but that's it.
Bugs
That's
are
on
not
the
ghosts.
Yeah, that's on the human realm.
Human
And
realm.
welcome back, passengers. We've been at a cruising level now. You can unfasten your seatbelts.
We're
and
at human level now.
We're now at the human realm, so feel free to take off your seatbelt and walk about the cabin.
Kill Baskin.
So I have one parting question for you.
Please ask it.
So, if I were to become possessed,
Oh no.
like full blown, I'm speaking Latin, doing like some creepy ass back bends down the stairs, would you try to exercise me?
Exercise.
Would you put me on the stair climber?
I would make you do workouts until it came out of you.
Would
Taibo, yoga, like YouTube fitness, bodybuilding, powerlifting, CrossFit, all of it.
Would you try and get me like an exorcism, or would you just leave me?
If you became possessed, like for real.
Yeah, for real.
To be honest, I don't even know like what's the protocol.
I think you called the church.
I would call somebody. I'd call somebody. Like, hey, you get demons out of people. You know, sometimes I make jokes and I walk into a room and I'm like, hey, demons, it's me, your boy. I would not say that to you. I'd be like, I know I've said it's your boy, but I am not your boy today.
Yeah.
And I would call somebody. I would call somebody, but I can't sleep in the same house as you if you're possessed.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
In movies, people are real committed to their spouses and to their children, and they do not leave. I would pack up.
I would try to save you first, but I wouldn't sleep in the same house as you. No offense.
That's fair.
And then I would call somebody and be like, can you take this demon out of your boy? And then they would come in and hopefully do it. And hopefully then you know, then we reconnect.
Like old friends.
Like old friends and built what was lost.
Like the old friends and roommates, but secret lovers that we are. But they were roommates.
Oh my God, they were roommates.
Okay, so that's it, you guys. I hope that you guys were a little bit spooked.
Just a little bit spooked.
Because I know I was.
I was very spooked. I was getting a few goosebumps.
Yeah.
Just kind of reliving the tale.
You guys have a ghost story, please comment it. No one listens to me and no one ever comments.
We do get DMs as well.
Yeah, so DM us if you
So
have a really
if you
good
don't
one.
feel comfortable commenting, DM us your spooky story. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up because it really helps the channel out in a massive way.
A lot.
You're on in a massive way. And if you're listening on a podcast app and you like this week's episode, make sure that you subscribe and give it a 5-star rating if that speaks to you.
Like, comment, subscribe. We love you guys.
All right. See you later.
Boo.
Boo.
Boo. We didn't plan the second boo. Okay, goodbye.